Katie, I will start. Great match today. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a very, very tough match for me for many aspects. I'm super proud of myself for getting through today against a player like that, having already played her last week. I also had expectations going out there, and I managed to control my emotions very well and played a really good match. And ultimately, it came down to the wire, and I think I stayed really strong in the tough moments, and I think that's why I got the win today.
Hi Casey, Will Ryder for Kent Live. Congratulations on an incredible performance and incredibly emotional scenes at the end. I think Mary Berry was in tears in the Royal Box. I know it's only been a short time since the match finished, but how are you feeling, and can you now dare to dream about going all the way?
Yeah, I'm going to take one step at a time, of course. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I know I've put the work in to win some rounds here, and I just hope that I can keep that going and keep the momentum going. And I just look forward to going out there and enjoying myself and having a smile on my face. And you know, I don't think it gets any better than playing on centre court and getting my first win on there. Ultimately, that's going to give me a lot of energy going through to, you know, many more rounds and hopefully many more tournaments.
Katie, Mike Dixon, Mail. Were you a bit surprised to be playing indoors, given that the weather was fine? It was actually quite sunny during a lot of your match.
I mean,
you'd beaten her outdoors last week, and
yeah,
suddenly find yourself playing indoors.
It was definitely a change. You know, I didn't know until maybe 5 minutes before I went on the court. It was definitely relevant, and it was nice to get acquainted with my first match under the roof. Never seen it before, never played underneath it, and it took a few minutes to get used to, for sure. You know, the first few service games, I think from maybe both of us, were a little bit dodgy, and I was just getting used to my ball toss. But it was nice to play a different match. It was different conditions. Obviously, the courts are different than last week as well. They're a lot slower. But yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise for me because I didn't really know about the weather either, and you know, obviously it's not my job to make that call, and ultimately it's the people that, you know, put the tournament on.
Okay, Giovanni Gary from The Guardian. Obviously with your game styles it's quite first strike tennis. Wondering just how, you know, on a big stage against the top player, you find like the balance between, you know, attacking and, you know, waiting for the right opportunity, particularly when, you know, you started really well, but then you kind of had to adjust, I guess, after the first set.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I expect a player of that caliber to come back with better tennis. You know, I think I started really well, and I kind of gave away my advantage a little bit in one of the games. So I was a little bit frustrated with that, and from then on she picked up her game and her momentum, and she's a very aggressive player, and for me I have to stay really strong because I also know she's going to come in waves. You know, she's clearly been able to put it together many times, which is why she's made final here before. But you know, the best I can do is staying strong and hoping for the opportunity, and eventually I got it today, and today I managed to get the win.
Hi Katie, Ellen Brooks from Press Association. I'm really sorry about your gran. How difficult has it been to kind of balance all your emotions this week and keep your focus on tennis?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to dive into that one because I might get quite emotional, but yeah, it's been a tough few days for sure. Just as a general, I've tried to kind of get my emotions out and deal with the situation and try and keep my head on the tennis. I was lucky because my grandpa managed to come down from Leicester, and so we could keep him company and keep supporting him at the same time.
Katie, it did feel a little bit like watching lightning strike twice after beating Karina so recently. How much did that help, having beaten her quite that recently on grass at Eastbourne?
I think it really helped for me. You know, it's easy to say, you know, I believe I can win this match, but to have actually gone out there and done it a week before, it does make the difference. And I think that's also why when, you know, I played an okay first set and she picked up her game a lot, I felt like, I went through that last week, and I just needed to stay with her and stay on serve, especially in the second set. I did that again in Eastbourne, and I managed to get a chance, and I feel like I got that chance again today, and I got a bit lucky, and hopefully I can win many more matches like that and just be strong.
From the Sun. I just ask if your gran, was she a keen watcher of you? Did she go and watch you compete a lot? And can I ask her name as well?
Jill. Yeah, I mean her favourite tournament was Wimbledon, and that's why it's a special one for me. Yeah, she'd watch every single match that was on the TV.
Congrats today. I just wondered, coming through the ranks as a teenager, you were kind of tipped as the player that was going to go far in British tennis. You've had some really bad injury trouble. Did this feel like a long time coming, this moment?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it just shows how much work I've put in. I never ever expect to have things change, overnight. I don't think that that's something that ever happens. It does sometimes in miracles. You look at Emma, she's put a lot of work in, but right early in her career, she's been able to come out there and swing freely. I think it's a little bit different for me, where I've had to kind of build momentum and build some strength physically. It's a huge part of my game, and I've finally been able to put that work in, and it's started to pay off, and I've got a lot more work to do, and hopefully I can keep doing that.
Hi Katie, David from the Times. There was a lot of people in tears, I think, in the crowd after what you said at the end of the match. When did you learn that your grandmother had died? Was it before the last match, or?
I actually had I had a phone call from my grandpa the night before I played. He didn't mention anything, but he kind of gave me the inkling that it might be coming. And I didn't know anything until after my first match, where my mum basically pulled me aside and told me after the first match.
Congrats, Katie. Great win. Seems like you've really got Carolina's number. Joseph Riegel, tennis head. Obviously, it's a shame that Wimbledon doesn't have ranking points this year, and there's an argument that there are two groups of players that it affects the most. The ones that have a lot of points that they would defend and just automatically drop, and then those like yourself, wildcards and qualifiers, who are ranked around or just outside the top 100 and could, with a couple wins here, start to build their ranking a little bit. Is there a part of you now that wishes you could have those ranking points that would maybe give you an opportunity to get back into the top 100 for the first time in 3 years?
Look, ultimately, I'm going to keep working as hard as I possibly can, and I'm going to get those wins at some point. And I stick to that, and I'll stand by that and believe in myself, and I'm sure I'm going to get there. It's just a matter of time when that happens. Obviously, it's a really difficult situation for Wimbledon and the whole entire country. And there's not much you can do about it. I've ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm a tennis player, and I've got to keep my head down and do what I can. I'm so grateful to be here right now, given the opportunity to play this tournament and to be in the third round for the first time. It really is something for me.
Katie, it's obviously been well documented, the sort of physical struggles that you've had, and then you had some other very difficult news this week, obviously. Do you think, kind of having overcome those other challenges that you've had to, has that sort of almost helped you in terms of preparing for your tennis with the background of what's been going on this week?
Yeah, I think, every time you lose a tennis match or every time something happens in your life, you do get a little bit of a reality check. And, I feel like I'm the type of person that will come back stronger no matter what happens. Again, I'm lucky to have such a great support around me, and that does make a huge, huge difference. I've got great people, great boyfriend, and just a great team who push me every single day. And without that network, I'm not sure where I would be, but ultimately I am a fighter, and I am standing here today having overcome a lot of those issues, and I just hope that they will at some point go away. But it's a fact of life. life, and these things do happen and you have to deal with them. It's nothing different to any other person. We all go through our own struggles, and mine are just a little bit different and more frequent.
You play Harmony Tan next. I mean, obviously everybody who gets to the third round of a slam is playing really well, but maybe not, not the high-ranked opponent that you might be expected to play. So it seems like a great opportunity potentially for both of them.
Of course, I actually watched her match against Serena. She makes it very difficult. There's a reason she's beaten some really good players this week, and I expect nothing less than her to go out there and enjoy herself when I play her. And it's going to be a tough battle, but ultimately I'm just going to go out and enjoy myself and play some good tennis, hopefully.
Katie, given kind of your path to this and all the injuries and stuff, just curious, do you consider yourself a patient person?
That's a very good question. I think I've learnt to be patient. I wouldn't say I'm a patient person. I think I never really had the choice, and it's the reason I am where I am today, and I'll stick by that.
You mentioned, it's Julia from the Sun. You mentioned your boyfriend, obviously he's playing very shortly. Are you going to get out there to watch him, and how are you celebrating together?
I'm sure I will be getting out there. Obviously I've got to look after my body and do everything that I need to do, but I'll be there supporting him. It's a tough match. Obviously he plays a British player as well, who, I've got a lot of admiration for him as well. He's a great player, and I'm sure they'll go out there and have a really good match. So yeah, I'll be supporting for sure.
Hi, Katie, Michael Knowles from the Daily Express. Can you tell us a little bit about how your gran supported your career to this point?
Yeah, she's always someone who's been right into tennis from stage one. She lives just down the road from the tennis club, and that's the tennis club that I started playing tennis at. So yeah, Leicestershire is very close to my heart, and I've spent a lot of time on the courts there with my grandparents and my family. So it's a lot of memories, and ones I'll cherish.
Katie, we obviously had a couple of British Grand Slam winners go out on centre court yesterday. Did you just get a bit of a sense from the crowd that this was some good news that they were really hoping for today?
Well, I hope they enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good match. Obviously, I actually watched both those matches yesterday. Really tough for both of them. It's sad to see them go out, but I'm sure they'll come back stronger and they'll be fit and fighting, ready for US Open. But the crowd were incredible today. They really lifted me when I needed it. Got me pretty emotional at times. But yeah, there's nothing like playing on centre court. It's the pinnacle of tennis.
If your local football team can win the Premier League 5,000 to 1, what sort of chance have you got of winning this thing?
What did the bookies say mine is? I mean, I hope I can take a leaf out of their book. I mean, I've got a lot of I've got a lot of support from the Foxes, and yeah, they were something else that year, and maybe I can hopefully create that this year.
Time for one more. Well done.
Hi Katie, well played. Catherine Whitaker Tennis Podcast. I just wondered, you mentioned sort of the miracle of what Emma did last year. Does what she did give somebody like you in your position belief and hope that anything's possible?
100%, yeah. What she did was astonishing. I think everyone in this room knows how incredible what she did. It doesn't come every single day. She came out, she surprised everyone, and she played some fearless tennis, and that's what's so impressive. And I hope I can go out there and do the same thing. I'd love to do what she's done, and you never know, one day it might happen.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want to say J or G?
Jay. Yeah.